Hello everybody, in this video we are going to be going over Sylas Jungle, the infamous meme pick, troll pick. For the past like 3 years it has been absolute garbage, and now as you can see the win rate is actually up to a pretty decent level. If you look at the previous patch before the jungle changes, Sylas Jungle was barely played, had a 41% win rate, and now 6% pick rate, 49% win rate, and climbing. It was a bit lower a couple days ago, but as people are playing it more and getting more used to it, the win rate has actually been going up over time. So this D tier ranking on u.gg is not necessarily indicative of anything. I'm not sure. I wouldn't necessarily call it overpowered yet, but it's definitely stronger than it really deserves to be, and especially considering how Riot has intentionally kept it unplayable for the past 3 years. The fact that it's actually viable now is crazy, and I'm expecting it to be nerfed soon. But anyway, why does this actually work? Well, there's a couple things that go into being a jungler, of course. You have to have a good clear, and you have to have good ganks. And Sylas Jungle before, his ganks are extremely strong. You have triple gap closer, plus crowd control, a little bit of it. But also your damage is just very high, so you can really just walk up to the enemy, trade with them, deal like 60% of their max health, and then you either kill them or you can even just walk away, and now they've completely lost lane. So you just have so much dueling power in that early game when you're not tethered to a lane, and you can really just do whatever you want. And the issue before was that his clear speed was atrocious. You took so long to clear jungle, you would lose all your health doing it. But now with the new pets, you actually clear very quickly. Not quite as quick as some of the other champs, but you can full clear in under 330 with leashless. I think. Maybe you might go a little bit over if you're leashless, but most champions in the game now can full clear in under 330, which is especially good for Sylas because, as we mentioned earlier, his ganks are really strong. And the issue before was that he couldn't clear, but now he can. So there's really nothing holding him back. And in addition, you do get the ult diversity. Not as big of a deal, but being able to walk around the map and just take whatever ult you want because you don't have to worry about the per target cooldown is, of course, very nice. So, yeah, I mean, the new update just completely got rid of his weaknesses, and now you can kind of go around and dominate the map and also be able to farm at the same time and not get super far behind. So as for the build, this is the main one. We take Dark Harvest and Night Harvester. A bit weird because Dark Harvest has really never been viable on Sylas, and neither has Night Harvester. But they work with this build because you don't need to worry about mana. So you see here, we don't have a single mana rune. We don't have Biscuits, we don't have Prince of Mind, and we don't even take a mana mythic, but that's because the jungle item gives us a massive mana regen buff when we're in the jungle, which means that even if we do run out of mana, we can kind of sit in the jungle for a little bit and get most of that back. And mana is a huge issue for Sylas. It's one of the reasons why he can't really he can't really do a build with no mana items, and unfortunately all the tier items suck on Sylas, so you're forced to go a mana mythic if you want to be relevant, which, keeps him from being able to build Night Harvester, which is an extremely powerful item on him. Mainly because it keeps your damage super high and gives you a ton of ability haste at the same time. And if we go down here to the full build, we can see we go Night Harvester into Sorcerer Shoes into Shadow Flame, and then of course we go Zanya's Death Cap, Voice Stuff, all that good stuff at the end. And so if you've paid attention to the first strike build, you might see a big similarity here. We're going Sorcerer Shoes, Shadow Flame, just maximizing our burst damage. But now we aren't crippled by our low ability haste, because when we go Everfrost, our ability haste is a lot lower than normal, because we aren't going Lucidity boost. But with Night Harvester, we get 25 ability haste base just from the item existing. And then we get 5 more for every other mythic item we have. So in the end, you're getting almost the same ability haste as you would with the regular Bruiser build, but you're also getting all this magic penetration. And, yeah, I mean, it's just, you are losing out on the mana, which is kind of the third element of that ability haste, magic pen, and then you also need mana. But again, because we're in jungle, we don't actually need that. We can kind of ignore that. And so we get to maximize our offensive stats, which ends up being extremely strong. And you can see here, we max W first, and then E, and then Q, as opposed to the first strike builder where we would max Q second. We are maxing E here because since we do have the more ability haste, we want to get that cooldown as low as possible so that we just can jump around the map like we would in the Bruiser build. Except now we do a lot more damage. So, that's the build. I would recommend doing, pretty much this exact thing. I don't really think anything else works. You might be able to change around some runes, but I found Treasure Hunter is incredibly useful because you are going to gank early and you're going to get a lot of gold from that. Sudden Impact, of course, because you have like 10 dashes in your kit. And then, of course, Boots and Cosmic are really good on any jungler. As for the playstyle, I would recommend clearing 5 camps and then ganking. So Riot kind of set up the jungle so that now Scuttles spawns at 3:30 instead of 3:15. And that gives most champions time to full clear into Scuttle, or you can choose to do 5 camps, gank, and then Scuttle. And Sylas' main strength is his ganking, so I recommend doing 5 camps, ganking, and then going for Scuttle, because you can easily get an enemy flash or a kill, especially if the enemy jungler decides to full clear. Because if you are on blue team and you're starting bot side, then you can gank mid or top by the time that you get up there. If you're on red team and you're starting on blue buff, then you'll be in mid or top. And so you can really go either of those options. If top is pushed up, I found a couple games where enemy top laner is really far up. You can get a gank. The lane is very long, so it's really easy to just run them down. They can't really do much. Mid lane also works, but it's a bit more dependent on the matchup because the enemy is a bit safer. As for bans, I would always ban Elise. You can see here it is worst matchup. 1, Elise is just overpowered right now. 2, she hard counters him. It's not too difficult to see why. 1, her ult is absolute garbage. 2, she has a linear crowd control skill shot that is really strong. Those are pretty rough for Sylas because when you land your E2, it makes you very vulnerable to abilities like that. And 3, her spiderlings also block your E2, which is, most of your damage, so, or a big portion of your damage. So I would always ban Elise. In terms of other matchups, it's a lot of the bruisers or tanks. Those can pose a big problem. You're not actually that good at killing tanks, and if you do fight for a long time in a row, you will run out of mana, even with the mana regen, so you will have to take a couple breaks to, just regen over time. But, against any squishier jungler, you're just going to be able to farm them, especially once you get past that early phase of the game. You're going to be ganking people, you're going to be getting treasure hunter stacks, you're going to be farming up your gold, you'll get an early night harvester, and then you'll kind of run around the map and start one-shotting everyone. So, that's kind of my rundown of Sylas jungle. Hopefully I didn't ramble too redundantly, but yeah, so we got the build, the runes, playstyle, and, I think this is probably going to be nerfed. So I would, if you're interested in this, you've been a Sylas jungle enthusiast, then it's definitely the time to go about it. Honestly, I don't think it's that strong, compared to some of the other junglers, but if we see, how Riot has historically kept Sylas jungle, in the 41 to 42% win rate range, the fact that it's a 49% win rate now with a 6% pick rate, even if it's not astonishing, it is way higher than it has ever been before. And I think Riot is probably going to do something about it, so whether it's, it's not next patch, he's not going to nerf next patch, but maybe in the future, if this picks up a bit more, people start playing it, it proves to be maybe a little bit stronger than it is right now, then I can definitely see it getting nerfed. So, yeah, that was my take on Sylas jungle. It is actually really good. I wouldn't say that it was if it was garbage. I just say it's straight up garbage because I don't like misleading people. for the sake of OMG, insane one shot. But you know, this is actually OMG insane one shot. Your damage is crazy, and yeah, it's actually good. So anyway, hope I didn't ramble on too long. Yeah, hope maybe this will inspire you to pick up Sylas Jungle. And yeah, if you do like this content, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving any comments. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.